Am toate aici, nu? Păi unul întoarce aici și unul merge până la... Nu tot acolo,
Let's roll!
De unde sunteți?
Am fost la 10 minute acolo și la mine am 89.
Wow, really? Ok, dar nu mă așteptam să fie ajuns așa repede înaintea noastră.
There's a lot of sh's in your language. What is she? Is there a
She is and.
And. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
What does it sound like to you? What other language?
Good question. Sounds
Maybe it's too early.
a bit of. It might be a bit early, but it sounds a little bit. It's got a little bit of Italian in it, a little bit of Hungarian. That's what I'm getting at the moment.
Okay.
Cool. I don't know. Do you know what's your where the stem of it comes from?
Yes, but that doesn't mean that it sounds like it.
No, that's true.
It's mostly Latin. Like the structure, the syntactical structure is Latin, and a lot of the vocabulary, like I think 60% or so. And then there's Turkish vocabulary,
Right.
and Slavic vocabulary, like Russian,
Yeah.
and more recent other things like French or English even. It was built in the 30s by one of our kings, and this is one of the things I wanted to talk about, how we had 60 years of monarchy in Romania, and it was a German house, German kings, but we also had one British lady, the wife of our second king was from a British family. I don't know which one.
Do you know which king?
Which king built this one? The first one. He was very old already.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was his project. I think he actually didn't live to see it finalized. That's the that's his face.
Ready, Jen? Ready, James? Let's go.
All we need is a Constanţa landmark.
Un loc celebru din Constanța.
Casino.
The casino?
The casino. Okay. This is the, can I just ask, this is the one, where, can you tell me where that is? On the seafront, the one on the seafront.
Sorry.
Yeah, the casino.
I love that building, but I was also like, I don't want to. I know what that the building is, but then I didn't want to do that thing where you go, I know what that building is, and then everybody looks at you later and goes, it's not that building, it's a different one. And I thought maybe there was another one that I didn't know about.
The casino.
The casino. The beautiful building. Great, thank you very much. It's all made up.
He's wearing huge, dirty boots. They're covered in mud and they're very, very thick.
His fingernails are encrusted with dirt. They're so thick that you could almost peel it off and flick it out.
He has a scar across one eye. It goes all the way across his actual eyeball.
And unfortunately, there's a small amount of drool, the dribble that just comes out of his mouth more or less all of the time.
Thank you. And there's a small piece of souvlaki tucked in his shirt.
My name is Sam.
He is wearing a long tunic to his knees.
It has embroidery on it in blues and reds. We saw that at the folk, what's it called?
Oh, the craft
The
craft
folk
fair.
craft fair.
Yeah.
And also, I think the night that Diana was taking people for a walk and everybody was dressing in traditional costume, we saw quite a lot of people coming away from that.
But also when we were sitting down and just you'd see people walking along with these like very colourful like tops with that embroidery over like jeans and things. And
Looks
it's
very
like,
cool.
It's very,
Like, cool.
very present
Mm-hmm.
in like the history is still very present in lots of how people dress. It's lovely to see.
He has long hair to one side and a dreadlock.
He's wearing flip-flops that are a bit too small for him.
He has some scabs on his knuckles, dried blood on his knuckles.
He has a homemade tattoo. It's like the yin and yang sign.
And my name is John.
I really enjoy seeing how we affect each other. From the very first moment that we start dressing each other up, you see these changes happening to us as we're affected by the stole or like the shoes. Like all of us just start getting grounded by these things.
Yeah. And also bouncing ideas and stuff that we've learned from the week off each other as well, because the lighthouse was like, oh yeah, the lighthouse, and
waterfront.
and all that,
You're absorbing stuff all the time. There were things that came out of my mouth during that show which I didn't realise I'd paid attention to. I knew I'd taken it in, but I didn't really. But I mean, it's not often like that in improv. Like the stuff will come out of your mouth, and you're like, "Oh, I remembered that." Well done.
I think
pat on the back.
we were all quite scared about, because we kept hearing things and being like, oh, we must, that's a good thing, that would be a good thing for the show, and then having to go, no, because that's not how improv works, that's not how we play. Everybody started clapping.
Yes! Oh, yes!
That was so nice. That was, yeah, straight away. As soon as the beat started, as soon as we started singing, it was like, cool. This is what we do. We know this kind of stuff, and it was like,
yeah. It was the first time that I think I knew that the audience were with us from the very start. It was such a warm atmosphere in the theatre, and that was just the moment that a flare went up and went like, oh, everybody's with us, great!
Yay! We spent a little bit of time listening to some Romanian folk music.
We did,
and they do it does have that kind of.
Yeah, some of it has this beat though. Which we chose not to go for.
Yeah.
Making things is so much nicer. Creating things, it's making life, not taking it away.
Wow, you're like the Eminescu of our family.
Hold on, hear the laugh. Oh, there was a
Okay.
massive cheer.
Oh, okay. I spent some time in a coffee shop that morning reading Eminescu poetry that had been translated into English. And it was very good. It was very good. I don't know if the translation was a good translation, but yeah, stuff about Lucifer and I was just reading. It was good.
Well, craft's no good anymore. No one cares about craft no more. It's about sticking new things on buildings. No one cares about it.
I care. What happens to us if we forget who we are? If we forget where we came from? It's bad enough to look around and see the state of the buildings.
It's all history, yeah?
It's our history.
Time passes, people forget about it, they move on.
No, they don't.
I was thinking at that point that there was a building that we saw where there was a really nice old building, and then they put the sort of like glass sheet over. They half made a new modern front of it or a side of it, and it just looked really weird. They just sort of kind of covered over the old thing with this nice shiny new thing. Very much a lot of older than new thing, and things decaying and being refurbished with a real overriding sense of Constanţa.
Yeah.
There's a very real feeling from wandering around that lots of these buildings are going to be looked after, because so many of them have got the plaque of like cultural significance. which I don't. I mean, you don't have that as in the UK.
No.
You get blue plaques where
Yeah,
it's like, oh,
so-
somebody famous lived here, but not necessarily that the building itself is important.
Well, all of these things, they make us who we are. You can't ever forget, because if you forget, you might do things again. You know, you might forget that there's beauty in the simplest creations.
No, here he goes again.
Oh, he's gone off on one, isn't he? He's looking at his carving.
Do you remember when Father showed us how to make life? Do you remember when Father showed us amidst all that strife? It made us who we are, it showed us what we want. And now if we forget these things, what are we? We're no better than the dirt on the ground. Remember who we are.
Remember
Who we are. I love you, child. It's all I've ever done. When you were born, I wondered, could I be enough of a one to give you a life and protect you as you grew? It's hard being a father. As you grow up, you'll see this is true. But you are.
I'm not trying to cause you pain. I'm just trying to live my life. Can't you see that we're not the same?
You could make good shoes like me.
I want more, Father. I want to go out and see the world, and I want to find love and adventure. I don't want to stay here marrying old men and making shoes and bearing ugly children. Feel something more, something real. I'm not trying to hurt you.
But you do.
I am just trying to go my way.
Go, make your dreams come true.
Father, please don't be this way.
There's no other way to be. No, take it. Take it. Go. Go! But you do.
I think as this scene progresses, thinking about this scene as a whole, where my character decides to leave her father and sort of break out alone, it's kind of inspired by how much the difference there is in the generations, and what different people have experienced over time, and how the younger generation probably, since everything's changed so much, and how there must be such a difference between the younger generation and the older generation, and also this the new freedom that's coming for this our generation that wasn't there before. It was like, follow these rules. This is how we live our life, and then how that probably was quite difficult for some older people to let go of their children to go and be a bit more independent and do these crazy things.
I'm getting old.
I know.
I just want you to be safe. Who's going to look after you when I'm not around anymore?
Well, I'll just look after myself, you know?
After yourself?
Yes! Yes! Maybe if there's no such thing as love, maybe I just look after myself. I would rather be alone than with a man I don't love.
You think you can look after yourself?
Yes, Father. I think I can.
Remember when you were a child and you rode that bicycle through town and you fell off? What happened then? Who was there to pick you up?
You were.
Exactly!
I assume when you brought up the bicycle, James, that was about our bicycle trip.
Oh yeah.
And also on the squares, certainly the big square, which is called Big Square. All the children playing out until quite late, and there were lots of kids like cycling around, which
and the graduation.
The
There was an
graduation,
enormous
yeah.
graduation in the town square, which we saw, and
it feels to me like there's a way of finding it, because it is a tourist destination, but it feels like there's a nice sort of symbiosis that they're not going, no, tourists, you can't have this all. This is our place as well.
Now, as you know, I had planned for you to take over the restaurant.
Yes, Uncle. I mean, Chef. Yes, Chef.
I brought you here to inform you that will not be happening. I can't, in all honesty, see how you could ever run a restaurant. You don't have the dexterity. I've seen you in the kitchen trying to make sausages, trying to wrap spiced cabbage around things. It's not good.
And I said spiced, I didn't mean to. I meant to say sour. But
yeah,
yes.
we had that meal on the first day in Sibiu.
We did, yeah.
That we just ordered everything.
Somale, yeah.
And Mitch.
And Mitch. And we ordered too much food.
Yeah, we did. It took me 3 days to feel hungry.
So that was polenta and the sour cabbage with the
and pickles.
And pickles, yeah.
And Mikhail was like, you can't have that with that. You have to have this, and you have to have the peppers, and you can't have this with. So we just we ordered too much.
Yeah.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
It was really it was nice, but it was a lot. A lot. Cool.
I can't leave this place. I don't want to be a disgrace. I want to be an honor for all the family and make you proud.
You have to go. You can't stay. What good are you? You got to go. You can't be here. You got to go and find your own way.
Our blood is the same. We've got the same family name. I'm just like you were at this age. We got the same shoe size. Mum says I've got your eyes.
I don't care whose eye you've got. You gotta go. You got to go. Hey, is he still here? What's that? No, get him away. I don't want to see him anymore.
You knew I was leaving?
Everybody knows
You told everybody before you told me?
The whole city. The whole city. No, don't you?
Yeah.
The whole city. I told them all. We're very close knit. It's a small city. It's very small. The buses are terrible. You have to go. You have to go.
I've got to go. I've got to go. You want me to leave through that door over there?
Leave through the door over the house. You got to go.
What if I just go out the first set of walls and I stay in the second set? Or the third set?
Just keep going.
Okay, so our guide on the second day was telling us that there's like 7 rings or something to the city, and each one. So was the first. I can't remember which way around. Was it the first one was
you
built
build
on
the wall,
inside?
you'd fill it in, and then like when you got to
next,
population saturation, you'd build the next set of walls,
Yeah.
and that would be fill in, and then you build the next one, and you'd fill that in.
Yeah.
And also the fortification of the churches in the countryside was like crucial to the security.
Yeah, was that what did he say? There were like
272.
272
fortified
churches
Wow.
for people to when the Turks came up. Yeah. The other thing about that was that you said like everybody in the town knows we're a really close knit community.
Yeah.
So we went to the Hippodrome, and we were told that it's like a third of the population,
No, more
or half.
It was
60%.
or something.
Like lived down in that neighbourhood, and like the streets were built like extra wide so that people could walk 4 abreast. So they could, which I mean, we just don't get in the UK. Everybody has to like switch into 2s to allow everybody to pass at a maximum, and that the schools and things were like left open in the evening.
Yeah.
So it was like the community, the sense of community was intensified by that situation.
But that's not now.
No. But it's the memory of it for some people, like that there were some positive aspects that came out of the communist regime here in terms of community. But I mean, there were loads of negative things that we were also told about.
Yeah.
But I think the sense of community actually was there before communism, and like it's more about the people than like any kind of regime or the ballot boxes, right? So everybody in this town, there's always been a democracy that has a say about how things should be run. And even now you've got the, I can't remember how to say it in Romanian, but the eyes.
Yeah.
Like the protest every Friday where people go and they just stare at the Civic Hall and like, just to let the people in charge know that they're being watched. And
that was, it begins with V, isn't it? What you had? Vovedem, yeah. And we went down to see that and kind of to take part, and it was quite powerful because it wasn't a like massive group of people, but it was a decent sized group of people with flags and just literally everybody just joined the line and shut up and just looked at the party headquarters, and I just think that's something that we could take back with us. And go,
I wish we had something like that.
We're watching you.
Yeah.
Because you need to know that you're working for us.
Mm.
Nice.
No, I hate being Mitch. Yeah, I hate being Mitch too. I can't mop up my own grease. You're greasing all over the place.
Whoa! Hey, summer's here!
You think you're so special because you're all wrapped up in your little suit.
I'm great.
All right, Mr. Cabbage.
Nobody likes you quite as much as Mitch. I mean, we're super tasty, huh?
We're super tasty. We just hang out on the edges of the roads.
And we smell so good. You don't smell as good as us.
But I'm packed with flavor!
Yeah, but you're nothing without polenta.